What can I or what do I want to say about this one? And the children shall lead. If this was pitched to me, I would ask the pitchers, so is this a joke or do you actually think that this script is really worth producing? Maybe it was a cynical push from executives. Need more kids, need to address some generation gap, need to have an episode of a slight more comedic focus. Even serious episodes can insert some comedy moments very seamlessly. I guess the people in charge decided that the population would be too stupid to assess anything that wasn't blandly spelled out for them. This is meant to be funny. This is meant to be dramatic and super serious. This is meant to be tense and important. The exec types are terrified of letting their artistic properties and media just speak for themselves. But yeah, I would have asked the writers to give me something different, because this episode is not really impressive. I don't know anyone who would consider it to be so. Let's read some production history from the Free Encyclopedia. The episode was filmed in July 1968. Child actor Craig Hundley, who played Tommy, became a composer and inventor under the name Craig Huxley. His blaster beam, an 18-foot, 5.5-meter long aluminium bar strung with piano wire and played using artillery shells, would appear on Jerry Goldsmith's soundtrack for the first Star Trek film, as well as James Horner's Star Trek II and Star Trek III soundtracks. Huxley also composed the Peace Genesis project for the Project Genesis briefing video in Star Trek II. Ferdin, who played Mary, and Tochi, who played Ray, would later reunite on Space Academy, a short-lived series that aired from 1977 to 1979 on CBS. The somewhat bizarre casting choice for Gorgan was Melvin Belly, a personal injury attorney known as the King of Torts. His son Caesar played one of the children. During a climactic scene on the bridge, the oldest child, Tommy Starnes, played by Craig Hundley, cast a spell to make Captain Kirk's voice unintelligible so as to render him unable to give orders to his crew. To accomplish this effect in the production of the show, some of William Shatner's dialogue was recorded and then played back in reverse. When the audio is reversed in the segment of the finished soundtrack, Shatner can be heard clearly for the majority of the segment. The state: remove Lieutenant Uhura and Mr. Spock from the bridge. Confine them to quarters. Did you hear me? Take Mr. Sulu to his quarters. He is relieved of duty. Remove Lieutenant Uhura and Mr. Spock from the bridge. Confine, unintelligible. Take Mr. Sulu to his quarters. Unintelligible, Mr. Spock from the bridge. Confine them to quarters. Mr. Leslie, take Mr. Sulu to his quarters. Dave Tolada performs a script analysis on this episode, comparing the original script to what was filmed and aired. He observed a deleted scene with Sulu and words to the children's incantations, among other things. The episode was reportedly considered the worst episode in the Star Trek canon by Spock actor Leonard Nimoy as of 1986. A 1995 newspaper fan vote for worst episode of the series nominated this episode and a piece of the action, while the general fan consensus was that this was one of the poorer third season episodes and that Captain Kirk's brusque, exaggeratedly authoritarian and at times unmistakably hostile attitude towards the titular children undermined both the moral and the plot. Richard Keller of TV Squad listed Gorgan as the 10th scariest television character. In 2016, CNET ranked this episode as the 7th worst episode of all Star Trek. In 2017, Den of Geek ranked this episode as the 3rd worst Star Trek episode of the original series. In 2019, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation found, when charting the average IMDb ratings for all episodes of all the Star Trek series, that And the Children Shall Lead had the lowest of all original series episodes. And we'll close it here. Well, actually, in the famous and very good David Fincher film Zodiac, this episode is referenced during the scene in which the killer is invited to call into a television program and speak of Melvin Belly, played by Brian Cox. The newsman asks about Belly's role in And the Children Shall Lead.